Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me today. I am back from my week-long vacation. I'm super refreshed. I'm ready. I'm energized. Let's go. Why even wait? Let's go ahead and get started. Tesla should be valued as an AI company is the concept of this video, the subject matter. And now this is on the heels of NVIDIA, which is a hardware company. They make chips and graphics cards and all this good stuff. They posted huge beats, a huge beat yesterday for their earnings, and they're guiding to really big numbers for the rest of the year, especially around this AI subject, this AI concept, because they just have such a huge market to grow into. And the stock is up 25% on these results. And this is on a company that's worth almost $1 trillion from a market cap perspective. So this kind of jump for a company the size of NVIDIA is really unprecedented. So this AI thing is catching a lot of attention. Now, I really think the Tesla story is very closely tied to this AI story as well. And I really want to use this video to get you caught up as to why I think that. This is not financial advice. I really want to lead off with this statement. This is me sitting down and doing an exercise, and hopefully it's helpful for you to walk through it with me. And I also want to make sure you know that, in case you don't follow this channel closely, is that I've been invested in Tesla since 2012. I've been a Tesla owner. I own their vehicles since 2016. I've worked at the company since from 2017 to 2021. And Elon Musk follows me on Twitter. So I might be a little bit biased, just a little bit biased, okay? But I'm really trying to approach this exercise from as an unbiased perspective as possible. And hopefully this is just a very small data point on the internet that you can use to kind of think about this topic maybe a little bit deeper, and hopefully it's helpful. But I would love you to let me know what you think in the comments after you're done watching this video and that good stuff. So I really appreciate you stopping in. So something clicked while I was on vacation on my way back about how to think about this Tesla AI story. Pretty amazing what happens after you have 7 days of rest and you let your brain just kind of hang out for a little bit. We stayed in Excellence Punta Cana in Dominican Republic. Absolutely gorgeous resort. Here's a picture from the beach. My God. I want to be back there. Absolutely gorgeous. My wife and I went there for 7 days. But really how this AI thing really came about was that to get to and from the resort and move around the country a little bit, we hired a driver in the Dominican Republic. For those that are not familiar with that country, beautiful people, beautiful country. It's an awesome tourist country. From an economic perspective, it's ranked in the lower half of the world. So not the greatest infrastructure. The cars, are not in the greatest shape by and large, but the people there definitely do as much as they can with everything they have. And they're really some of the nicest people I've ever met. But we hired a driver there, and we were being moved around in these like Kia sort of type vehicles around sort of the infrastructure that's okay, nothing super great. And then we got back to Austin, Texas, the area where we live, and after 12 hours of travel, I got into my Tesla Model Y, and then the car drove me home. Right? The car drove me home. I didn't have to hire anybody. I just plopped in my car and I put in my home address, and the car took me there. I'm like, okay, so after being away even for 7 days, it finally clicked, I think, in my head, what is going on with this artificial intelligence thing as it pertains to Tesla. I was able to get into a car that's more comfortable, and the technology is far superior than anything I was able to really hire or hail over in the Dominican Republic from what I could see. And that solution is a lower cost per mile than what I use in Dominican Republic. Right? Again, a country that's not nearly as say well off as the United States. So I paid way less cost per mile for the solution because it doesn't need a driver. And the technology and the comfort I had in this vehicle was just crazy. And so as the car is driving me home yesterday, I'm like, this is crazy. Like I really can't believe it. Once you go from one to another, sort of back to back, it really hits you just how profound this is. And no other company really offers this service, this car that can drive you really in any circumstance, especially as we get further into the future. For my area, it drives under really any circumstance outside of insane rain where it can't see absolutely anything in front of it, where a human would even have a tough time driving in those conditions. Not even Waymo or Cruise can do this. And Waymo and Cruise, in case you're not familiar, these are two companies in the United States that operate self-driving cars in select markets, in select regions. This is what they look like. This is the Waymo solution. I think they also have a Jaguar that also is part of their fleet. And then they also have Cruise, which is primarily Chevy Bolts. Now, these solutions are select geofence cities, primarily San Francisco and others, driving with no highway driving. So everything is city related. and it's within certain times of the day, and it's only within certain parts of any given city. So it's super, super selective. However, when I got into my car at the airport, I had parked it in the airport, and I just left the parking lot and I put my address in and I turned on the autopilot. It drove me for 30 plus miles with no input. I didn't do anything for 30 miles. It just took me from the airport to my house, right? So no other company offers this today, right now. They might in the future, but right now they don't offer that. And Tesla Full Self-Driving in this situation is already here, and no one knows. I experienced it yesterday. Yes, it was one sample, but I got into my car and I'm like, holy crap. It legitimately took me home on its own after I paid somebody in a different country to take me to a place because there wasn't a solution there. And then my car took me home. I didn't do anything. And so nobody knows this yet. And I think this is really the concept of this video, is trying to look into the future. Who knows, maybe in the next 1, 2, 3, 5, 10 years, and really try to conceptualize and quantify what this actually means from a valuation perspective as it pertains to Tesla. And I really had to step away in order to realize just how insane of a situation this is. And with all the talk around AI, NVIDIA, ChatGPT, OpenAI, Microsoft, Bard, there's just so much going on. And Tesla is sort of this forgotten player in the AI space that I would argue probably has a more realistic use case, a more valuable use case today than any of the other ones combined, it seems like, and they're much farther along than a lot of people think. So Tesla is an AI company. I really believe Tesla is an AI company. So let's sit down and actually really walk through what this means from a quantifiable perspective and evaluation to Tesla. Before we do that, if you're enjoying this so far, I would love it if you throw me a like. It helps the YouTube algorithm show this to more people. Thank you so much. I really appreciate your support. Let's start with the full self-driving stack that Tesla has today. In case you're not familiar, let me play a little bit of a video. I'm having a lot of new followers and viewers lately, so thank you so much for your support. Full self-driving, it's basically Tesla's software suite where you can sit down and let the car drive you around. This is a podcast I did on my channel with Hans, a community member. What's up, Hans? How you doing? And you can see on the bottom of the screen here, the car is just driving itself. I'm not hitting on the pedals. I'm not hearing the steering wheel. I got my glasses on. There's a ton of reflection of my eyes and stuff. But basically, the car is doing its own thing, and it asks you to make sure you're alive by tugging on the wheel a little bit from time to time so that the system doesn't turn off. So this is what it looks like in case you're not familiar. Now, what I really want to show you as I get this thing to go to the next one is that we have a way now to quantify what this actually means from an evaluation perspective, given the latest guidance we got from Elon Musk at the shareholder meeting from about a week ago, their yearly shareholder meeting. Let me play this clip from said meeting, and then let's riff off of what Elon talks about so we can really start putting some numbers. This is in response to the best estimation from Elon Musk on what he thinks the profit margin will be for the auto business for Tesla once you bake in full self-driving and all that artificial intelligence technology into that business. So let's go ahead and take a listen.
Well, I mean, this is definitely, we're in sort of highly speculative territory here. But obviously, if you've got a car that costs the same and has, say, I don't know, a 20 or 25% margin and suddenly is able to be used 5 times as much, then you might have 80% margins, and the revenue would increase several fold. That's why I say it's probably going to be the biggest asset value step change in history of Earth.
So we got some speculative numbers from Elon Musk. Definitely was highlighted by him saying, now we're getting speculative territory. The numbers are getting weird, but it is a helpful sort of measure for us to really put pen to paper and start putting some numbers in the sort of context of how Tesla and Elon Musk are thinking about this opportunity, which will help us, I think, understand Tesla's long-term potentially. Weird way of using words there. So 80% margin to Tesla would be what Elon Musk is estimating full self-driving to be in the long term once all the things are done around robotaxi, full self-driving, their fleet, so on and so forth. And this also means some multiple increase in revenue. So now let's take that 80% number and see what that means in sort of context of their business today, and just using some very simple extrapolations into the future. So today's Tesla auto margin is about 20%. The last quarterly earnings was about 18.3%. Without any sort of ZEV credits, which are the EV incentives that they get from the government and leases as well. Before that, it was around 23%. This quarter is estimated to be around 20%. So today, they're around 20% margin. And today's average cost to produce a vehicle for Tesla is about $37,000 per car manufactured. And this is at a run rate of about 2 million cars per year. So without a pickup truck, without a van, without a compact car, Tesla's average cost to manufacture is about $37,000 per vehicle. Okay. Now, if we extrapolate out to 10 million units, which is half of Tesla's long-term goal per year, and we add in a compact car that's going to be somewhere between 30 to 50% cheaper than their existing cars, and we add on their Cybertruck, and we add on a van, and we add on any other sort of product lines that Tesla comes out with, the average cost per car in the long term should be somewhere around $30,000 per car. Maybe a little bit less, maybe a little bit more, but it's definitely going to go down as they introduce this compact car and the volumes go up. So about $30,000 per car cost once they're at 10 million cars per year, if they hit that number, which I really think it's quite assured that they will in the long term. So an 80% margin on $30,000 cost is equivalent to $150,000 in revenue, which is about 3 times where they are today per car. They charge about somewhere between $46,000 to $47,000 per car. So $150,000 per car is about triple that, call it. And since it's 80% margin, it's about $120,000 in profit. So you go from about $37,000 cost and $46,000 average selling price or revenue to $150,000 revenue, or how much you sell it for, in about $30,000 cost, which again, that difference is that $120,000 profit at 80% margin. And this would be per car over the life of the vehicle to Tesla. There will be some sort of profit share between Tesla and the customer if they decide to, say, add their car to this robotaxi fleet. But this is not really a yearly number. This is once Tesla sells a car, that car should generate over the life of the vehicle somewhere around $120,000 of profit per car manufactured, is how I'm conceptualizing this. And I would love to hear your take in the comments. Let me know if this is the right way of thinking about it. So if we assume that 10 million produced per year, which is half of Tesla's long-term goal of 20 million by 2030, so let's say they get to 10 million and it's about $120,000 profit per car manufactured, then this is adding over the life of each vehicle per year about $1.2 trillion in profit to Tesla. 10 million cars sold, $120,000 to Tesla because of that 80% margin. That's $1.2 trillion in profit to Tesla. And this is just from the auto segment. We know that Tesla's going to have energy, which they do today, and whatever else they come up with, energy arbitrage, the humanoid robot, which is going to be later in this video. But this is just from the auto segment once you bake in full self-driving. And so if Tesla has a goal of 20 million per year by 2030, one can very easily conceptualize and say, okay, so if they do hit that goal, that number could theoretically be double, right? You go from 10 million to 20 million, that number goes up to $2.4 trillion in profit per car manufactured at 20 million per year with a $30,000 average cost to manufacture at 80% margin. Is that enough numbers for you? Sorry, that's just what it is. So let's assume Elon is 25% correct. Let's take sort of the ambitious targets he's put out there and this speculative number that he's put out there, and let's assume he's 25% correct. So let's assume Tesla maxes at 10 million per year instead of 20 million per year by 2030. And then the profit that's generated from the vehicles is half of that 120,000 at 80% margin. So we go from 20 million to 10 million cars, and from 120 $20,000 profit per car to $60,000 profit per car. So that's 10 million times 60,000 per car. It's about $600 billion in profit from auto per 10 million cars produced per year. So it's about half of that 10 million number. At a 20 price earnings multiple, which is a way to figure out what the stock price should be based on sort of the simple math of their price to earnings. At 20 price earnings, the market cap equivalent would be $12 trillion at $600 billion per car manufactured at 10 million cars per year, 12 trillion. If we compare it to Tesla's valuation this morning, as of 11:44 a.m., Tesla's market cap is about $582 billion, which if you put it sort of where we are now to where this valuation could be in the future, if Elon Musk is correct and if I'm correct, Tesla is at about 5% of this valuation today versus the long term. So this implies a 20x in valuation increase if these numbers are correct. Now, this is the full self-driving math, and already the numbers are kind of crazy, right? It's a 20x from today. But let's also study the humanoid robot, which is a huge part of Tesla's artificial intelligence business. Before we do that, if you want to support the channel, I have a coupon code for Athletic Greens, which is a supplement that I use every single morning. You get free travel packs and also free vitamin D with that coupon if you'd like to use it. I really appreciate your support. Thank you so much. So in case you're not familiar with the humanoid robot, with the Tesla bot, here's a video of this very awesome, potentially scary looking thing. So about a year and a half ago, this was just a concept. It was a person dancing in a freaking suit. I don't know if you remember that. But now they have it to a point where they've developed a lot of technology around the robot. They've done a lot of work around the actuators, the materials, the chip, the software. And now this thing's just moving around and doing some very basic tasks when it comes to the robot actually doing things. It's not quite useful yet from the looks of it, but the amount of progress they've made in the last year and a half is truly, truly impressive. It can pick up things with his hands, like you see there, and the person behind is like completely freaking. Look at how excited they are, picking up and doing simple things. And you can see that the robot's not tethered anywhere. This is sort of doing it on its own weight with its own movement, and there's no additional help. So why is this impressive? So let's go ahead and listen to some additional comments from Elon Musk from that same shareholder meeting and try to understand how to think about the humanoid robot so we can start putting some additional numbers together and really get a full understanding of what it means for Tesla to be an artificial intelligence company. Here's Elon Musk.
For full self-driving, as full self-driving gets closer and closer to generalized real-world AI, that same software is transferable to a humanoid robot. Just like humans can obviously walk around with their arms and legs, but we can drive a car, fly a plane, steer a boat, ride a horse. If you have a generalized understanding, or if you have generalized real-world AI, which is what we are developing for full self-driving, it can be transferred to basically anything. So Optimus will use the same FSD computer as the car. The Optimus stuff is I think extremely underrated. Because people just cannot comprehend the consequences. Now, obviously, we need to make sure that we don't have a Terminator scenario. That's very important. It's all fun and games until Terminator shows up. But if you say, if you have had a generalized humanoid robot, what would be the effective ratio of humanoid robots to humans? Because I think basically everyone would want one. And maybe people would want more than one, which means the actual demand for something like Optimus, if it really works, which it will, is, I don't know, 10 billion units? It's some crazy number. It might be 20 billion units if the ratio is, say, 2 to 1 on people. Humanoid robots versus people, it might actually be. It's some very big number, is what I'm saying, and a number vastly in excess of the number of cars. So my prediction is that Tesla's long-term value will be a majority of the long-term value will be Optimus. And that prediction I'm very confident of.
Confident man. We heard the word confident more than once there, so it's pretty impressive stuff. So majority of Tesla's long-term valuation will be the Optimus robot in the estimation of Elon Musk, and he seems quite confident in that valuation. Now, we've just did an exercise to really understand what kind of half of the other part of the company could be valued at with just the full self-driving portion. But let's just walk through and see, okay, why would the bot actually work? Is this something that's even something we could be taking seriously? I think the key component here to think through, in my opinion, is if Tesla solves full self-driving, what's stopping them from solving the humanoid robot? I think if you put the humanoid robot and the car side by side, the car seems like a much harder problem to solve because you have a road missile, essentially, in a car that you have to build all these artificial intelligence safety measures in to make sure it doesn't end up killing thousands of people at once. Driving is quite a dangerous thing. And the fact that they're extremely close at proving out that this is a useful software, I get to experience it every single day. So from my side, I think I'm very lucky to say that I'm seeing why this works. Then the humanoid robot seems like something that will fit right within the context of what Tesla's trying to solve. Tesla's core competency truly as a company is a manufacturer of complex hardware software systems. That's what really a Tesla car is. It's a large object that is quite complex in how it operates, and it's married up with a software suite, in this case full self-driving, which is an artificial intelligence type solution. And the combination of those two things yield a self-driving car. So it's a marriage of hardware and software in a complex manufacturing situation. Not too dissimilar from, say, an Apple phone, where Apple does an excellent job of marrying hardware and software to provide their products, and that's why they have such great efficiency around their hardware, because they have specialized those two things to play together. Tesla is doing the same exact thing with vehicles and whatever else they decide to do from a hardware perspective. So if you really think about why Tesla should be considered as a manufacturing expert, just to sort of highlight the dominance they have, and also a software expert, they're going to sell roughly 2 million vehicles in 2023 per year, and probably significantly more in the years to come, with little to no advertising as a luxury EV-only maker. So think about that for a second. They're going to be about 20 to 25% of Toyota or GM, with little to no advertising as a luxury brand with no advertising. If that doesn't speak to their competence as a manufacturing expert, as a software expert, as a company that really knows what they're doing, I don't know what else would, right? So I think this is proof that says Tesla knows what they're doing from that perspective. They also have a ton of money in the bank to fund whatever this robot venture will look like. They have money in the bank of about $20 billion in cash and $0 of long-term debt, which basically means they have cash sitting there. They don't really have to pay much interest on any loans that they have outstanding, really zero by now. And they're adding about $10 billion of profit per year through their profit and loss. Now, some of that will be lost to sort of investments in their factories and things like that, but that's what will allow them to actually make the robots and the servers that they need to run those robots, the chips that they have to buy or create themselves with their Dojo chips, so on and so forth. So from a financial perspective, they're also well positioned to invest in new technologies like the humanoid robot. And then you think about the complexity of something like that, and the humanoid robot itself, and the amount of progress they made in a year and a half. I think this really speaks to the level of talent they have internally. They have the talent required to execute on the humanoid robot, and I think this is quite clear. If we look at the latest engineering student rankings, this is from Universum in 2022. Both Tesla and SpaceX are number 1 and 2 for destinations for engineering students for where they want to go. SpaceX and Tesla, followed by NASA. My accent gets in the way for that that one. Lockheed Martin, Boeing, so on and so forth, and Apple. The next automaker is not GM until 11, and these guys aren't even really working on any robotics or anything like that. So from a talent perspective, it seems like SpaceX and Tesla have a embarrassment of riches, and I can personally attest to this, having worked at the company for over 4 years, that this is very much the case. It's just filled with incredibly brilliant people. I was the stupidest person in the room everywhere I went, okay? It shouldn't be a surprise based on my content. So let's sort of think about it this way. If FSD is $12 trillion market cap, right? If that's how much it's adding at that 10 million units per year at about $60,000 profit per car, which is about 25% correctness, right? We talked about Elon Musk being 25% correct. And if the bot's going to be a majority of Tesla's long-term valuation, then you would think that the bot will be at least half, right? At least half of the rest of the valuation for Tesla. So 12 trillion plus at least another 12 trillion gets us to a $24 trillion market cap for Tesla if all of these things are correct, right? If all of these things are correct. But I think really sitting down and doing the math, using some very small nuggets that we're getting out of Elon Musk, but I think significant enough to sit down to put pen to paper, the $24 trillion market cap, if executed, I would argue it's possible, maybe 1% chance, maybe 5% chance, but now we're able to put a number to this whole story. Again, if you compare this to today's market cap of $582 billion, this is Tesla being at 2% of its long-term valuation today versus where it could be with full self-driving and the bot, which means it would be a 50x increase from where we are now. And so the biggest question becomes, if all of this is true and is correct, which I would love to hear in the comment section below if you think I am or not, what is the time scale? So when is this going to be realized? Is this going to be realized ahead of time as it becomes clear that Tesla might have a monopoly around humanoid robots? They have a monopoly potentially around self-driving cars. They have a monopoly potentially on the data gathering. You think about what other companies collecting nearly as much data as Tesla is from a vehicle perspective, how much data they're going to be able to gather from having humanoid robots walking around factories, walking around people's homes, walking around outside. This real world physical data that's needed to solve this problem. Tesla's going to be able to have so much data around this. Maybe that's a huge moat that they have, right? So how much of that is going to be realized? How much of that is going to be Tesla, the only player doing it? When will the market realize this and reward Tesla for it? Or will it ever happen? Is all of this just pie in the sky, doesn't make any sense? And, Elon can say whatever he wants, but in the end, we have to see it with our own two eyes, right? This is where you come in. I would love to hear your thoughts about this sort of, presentation. I don't even know what to call this. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. If you want to see more videos from me that cover AI, Tesla, the auto market, EVs, whatever else comes to mind for me, feel free to hit subscribe. I really enjoy doing these videos. Being away for 7 days really made me very hungry to get back into it. I had such an incredible time with my wife, but then once I started today, I'm like, damn, this is fun. So if you want to see more videos from me, feel free to subscribe, but definitely do let me know in the comment section below what you think. So artificial intelligence, huge thing that's happening. There's a clear momentum, not just from the zeitgeist being impressed with ChatGPT and all that crazy stuff, but it seems like the stock market is also starting to value a lot of the potential for artificial intelligence, really starting right about now. And it seems like we might be entering sort of for the next, for the foreseeable future, this potential bull market around artificial intelligence companies. And the companies that can claim that sort of moniker of artificial intelligence company, I think will have an sort of outsized benefit from a valuation perspective. And if NVIDIA is going to be valued as one, if Google is going to be valued as one as an AI company, if Microsoft's going to be valued as an AI company, I don't really see why Tesla wouldn't be valued as an artificial intelligence company, given that, in my opinion, they have one of the most valuable use cases for artificial intelligence, which is the automation of transportation. And in the case of the bot, the automation of labor. Crazy. Thank you so much for watching. I hope this video was informative and helpful, and we'll see you on the next one. Take it easy, everybody. Bye-bye.